But before we can show you that, we have to move some sheep up into the shed. And whenever we move sheep, it's called mustering. And to do the mustering, we use our special sheepdogs. The dogs we use are called Australian Kelpies. Now I'm going to introduce you to one of our Kelpies now. Now the Australian Kelpie has been bred for nearly 200 years, purposely to work sheep, so it's instinctive in the dogs, it's bred into them. It's instinctive in the dogs, and this is our youngest dog, this is Bill, and Bill is 3.5 years of age. And what we're going to show you, so if he was a person, he'd be around 25 to 26 years old. So what we're going to do now is take Bill out in the paddock, show you how the mustering works, and then we'll bring the sheep right up into the shed, right into this pen here. Bill, stay. Come on. During the mustering, the stockman, that's me, controls the dog, and the dog in turn controls the sheep. There are 3 main commands we use when mustering. The command round sends the dog to the left-hand side of the sheep. The command back sends him to the right side. And the command stay makes him stay in one position, as you can see Bill there. And as the sheep always move away from the dog, we control the movement of the sheep simply by controlling the dog. Now the sheep are just out here to the right-hand side, you may not see them, so we'll start by sending Bill out to the right, and he'll bring the sheep back towards me. Bill, go back. Go back. And Bill's gone out to the right side now, and you'll see the sheep come into picture soon. Move up, Bill. Here they come now, coming towards me, which is what Bill's job is. Bill, go back. Bill, go back. Go back. Stay. Good. Now that's the right-hand side. So now we'll start by sending that to the left. Bill, round. Round. Round sends the dog to the left-hand side. Bill, round. Round. Stay. Send back. Bill back to the right again. Bill, go back. Go back. Stay. Good boy. So you can see there the commands of the dog control the sheep, and he moves them towards me. Now I'm going to get Bill to bring the sheep up into the shed now. Bill, round. Move up. Move up. Round. And Bill's heading out to the left-hand side again. He'll stay behind the sheep, and he'll work left and right behind the sheep, bringing them up towards me. Bill, go back. Go back. See Bill being very cautious there. He's watching the sheep, pushing them towards me. Bill, go back. Stay. Move up. Move up. Giving Bill a bit of a hard time this afternoon. Move up, Bill. There we go. You see the dog's watching the sheep all the time, but he always gets his goal done, which is a good thing. Well done, Bill. Bill, come here. Bill. Good boy, come here. Bill, come here. Sit. Good boy. Bill, sit. Now it's very important once the dogs have moved the sheep that we reward them. And we simply do that by giving the dog a pat. And that'll just let the dog know that we're pleased with his efforts. We say, good boy, Bill, well done. And then that signs him off. And that lets Bill know that his job's done for the moment. Now you may be wondering what the horse was doing out there. Nothing at all. The mustering was done entirely by the dog. So what is the purpose of the horse? You've probably guessed. It's simply to provide transport for the stockman so he can keep up with the sheep and control the dog during the mustering. Bill, come here. I'm just going to tie Bill up here for the moment. Bill, come here. As he has another job to do just a little bit later on. Now these sheep were brought in, they are girls, they are female sheep, and we call the girls ewes. But we also have some boys here. I'll introduce them to you now. Now the first one to come out will be Pete, and Pete's the old boy. And Pete's always in a hurry. There we go. And the next one's Trev, and Trev likes to show off. Now the boys are called rams, and the only reason we have the rams is so they can breed with the ewes and make more sheep, of course. Now we're going to introduce you to one of our other dogs now, and this will be Henry. Come on, Henry. Come on. Henry's just woken from his afternoon nap. Come on, Henry. We're just going to tie Henry up here for the moment, as he has a job to do a little bit later as well. Now when the stockman's out mustering the sheep on the horse, he likes to have morning and afternoon tea, just as we all do when we work hard all day. And the traditional tea the stockman has is called billy tea, and this is the billy. So it doesn't matter what type of tea we put in here, it will always be called billy tea. So when the stockman wants a cup of tea, he'll get off his horse, make a fire on the ground, put the billy full of water into the fire, and then once it's boiled, he'll throw in a handful of tea leaves. He'll then pick up the billy, full of boiling tea now, and he'll swing it like this. Now swinging the billy is an Australian tradition, but there's a good practical reason why he does it. It forces the tea leaves down to the bottom of the billy immediately. That's the same force that keeps the water in here. So with all the tea leaves down to the bottom of the billy, the stockman can have a nice clean cup of tea much quicker. That's a very good reason for him to do it. And just in case anyone up there thinks I'm tricking you, plenty of water in the billy. Now I'm going to ask one of our visitors to see if they'd like to try this. I'm going to ask this gentleman right here. Where are you from, sir? Sir, where are you from? Malaysia. Would you like to try this? Would you like to try this? This is a lot of fun. Come on, sir. No? Okay, we'll try one of our guests. Sir, where are you from?
I'm from Singapore.
Singapore. Would you like to try this?
I'm fine with it.
Sorry?
I'm fine with it.
You want to try? Yeah? Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now just get you to stand here for me. Now, sir, there is no trick to this, okay? So nothing bad's going to happen. We still have some water in there. Keep your arm nice and straight. Swing the billy forward 2 or 3 times, and then stop, okay? And when you stop, sir, don't stop up here. Okay? Away you go. Start to swing the billy, the dogs start to bark. They didn't bark when I swung it, did they? Henry and Bill are the judges of the billy swinging. So they watch everyone who swings the billy, and when they saw you do it, they said, very good. So they're giving you a clap. Thank you, Henry, and thank you, Bill. Now, before Darren can show you how we shear a sheep, we have to move some sheep up into the catching pen. And as the name suggests, shearer catches the sheep in here, we bring it through the gate, and we shear it on the board. And whenever we move the sheep, of course, we use our dogs. And here's another one of our dogs. This is Jack. Sit. Now Jack is 5 years of age, so if he was a person, he'd be around 35 years old. And Jack is the father of Bill, that you saw mustering earlier. And Henry's going to help. Henry is our oldest dog. Henry's 13 and a half years of age. So if he was a person, he'd be 95, and he'd be retired. He's not a person, he's not retired, and Henry likes to keep working. So he's going to help Jack with the sheep. So come on, Henry. And Henry is the grandfather of Bill. But he's not the father of Jack. Work that one out. Come on, ready to go, boys. Come on. Ready to go. Move up. Move up. Come on. Move up. Come on, Jack. Come on, Henry. Move up, come on. So as you can see, the sheep like to move away from the dog. Come on, boys, move up. Come on. Oh, here we go. There we go. So that makes the work much easier for the stockman. And once again, we like to reward our dogs with a pat. So we say, Jack, sit. Jack, sit. So we say, good boy, Henry. Well done, old man. And good boy, Jack. Over you go, Jack. Henry, old man, through the gate. Thank you, Henry. Now this is the equipment we use to shear the sheep, and it's called the shearing plant. And when I turn the electric motor on up here, you'll see it provides the power to do the shearing. And when you pull it into gear, it drives a flexible shaft inside this tube that spins around to the bottom to the tool that shears the sheep. And this is the tool, and it's called the handpiece. Now the handpiece has two blades on it. This back blade, which is called the comb, that is fixed in position, and that will comb through the wool the same as a comb goes through your hair. And this top blade, which is called the cutter, that will move backwards and forwards very fast, and that's what cuts off the wool. Now it's very sharp, very noisy, and very dangerous. Now this shearing plant is what is used today. It is the modern way of shearing. It is also the easy way, but it wasn't always that easy. A long time ago in Australia, all the sheep had to be shorn by hand, and this is the tool that was used. And these are called shears. Now it was over 100 years ago that these were used, and in those days there was around 70 million sheep in Australia. All had to be shorn by hand. Shearers would work for around 10 hours a day, and in those days they'd shear around 70 to 80 sheep in a day. Today, with the modern equipment, shearers will shear twice that many, around 150 to 200 sheep a day. So it's much easier today. And something else that makes it easier for the shearer is this piece of equipment. And this was invented by a shearer who had a bad back and he couldn't shear sheep anymore. So how do you think the shearer got a bad back? Bending down, shearing sheep, of course, down in this position. So what do you think the shearer does with this? You put the sheep in there, make it nice and cosy. This is for the shearer. The shearer gets in here, down in the shearing position. You can see the spring supporting half of Darren's weight, taking a lot of strain off his back. Now Darren's going to get a sheep out now and show you how we shear it, and I'll explain the shearing process for you. Now the first thing the shearer does when he enters the pen is turn the sheep upside down. This gets the sheep off its feet, under control, and it cannot get away. When the shearer starts to shear the sheep, he starts by removing the belly wool first. The belly wool picks up a lot of burrs, prickles and grass seeds, and the sheep lies down in the paddock, and that requires a different processing from the rest of the wool. The belly wool is also kept separate to the main fleece wool. In a commercial shearing shed, there'll be more than one shearer, usually 4 or 5 shearers, and we call them a team of shearers. They'll start work at 7:30 in the morning, work for 2 hours, stop, have a cup of tea and a sandwich, work for another 2 hours and so on, for an 8-hour day. Up on the head now. When the shearer shears around the sheep's head, you must be very careful above the eyes and the ears. Now the neck is the most difficult part of the sheep to shear. As you can see, Darren's pushing the handpiece underneath the wool. The shearer has to feel for the skin before breaking the wool out. In Australia, we shear mainly merino sheep. That is the breed of the sheep. The merinos have a lot of wrinkles all over their body, but especially around the neck. You might like to think of shearing as the same as having a haircut. When you have a haircut, it doesn't hurt, and you'll neat and tidy for a while, and before long you'll need to cut again. This is exactly the same for the sheep, except we only shear a sheep once in every year. And this part of the shearing is called the long blow, a blow being a stroke of the shearer's handpiece. This is the longest blow that a shearer can do on a sheep. As you can see, Darren's going from one end of the sheep right through to the other, removing quite a lot of wool when he does the long blow. A typical sheep farm in Australia will have around 5,000 sheep. Shearers will work in teams, and they'll go to these sheds, work for 2 or 3 weeks, shear all their sheep, before moving on to another shed and so on throughout the year. The last side of the shearing is called the whipping side. It's called this as it's the fastest side of the sheep to shear. Having already removed most of the wool, the shearer will whip down this last side as fast as he can. So he can finish this sheep off, put him back in the pen, get another one out and shear as many as he can in a day. A shearer will be paid around $2.60 for every sheep he shears. This doesn't sound like a lot. When a shearer is shearing 150 to 200 sheep a day, he's earning quite a lot of money. There we have a lovely clean short sheep. Well done, Darren. Let's give him a clap. Now just move this gear out of the way. Now, in the wool of sheep, there's a natural grease called lanolin. You may have heard of it. It's a lot of skincare products and ladies' cosmetics. It's very good for your skin. It's also very good for the sheep itself. Immediately after the shearing, the sheep produces a large amount of lanolin, which will cover its whole body in grease. This keeps the sheep dry and warm. So we can put the sheep back out in the paddock, even in the winter time, and they don't suffer at all. When you give the sheep a rub on the freshly cut wool, a good hard rub like this, you'll be able to see the lanolin shining on my hands. You can see it there, it's very greasy. I can certainly feel that. So after the show, when the sheep is back in the catching pen, you might like to go in there and give the sheep a rub. Rub it for a long time, and rub it all over your face. You'll have lovely soft skin. You'll smell terrible, you'll smell really bad, but your skin will be lovely and soft. Now this pile of wool is called a fleece, and there are workers in a shearing shed called rouseabouts, and they'll pick up the fleece of wool and throw it onto a wool table. Now Darren's going to demonstrate this for us now, so you might like to imagine there's a wool table just here. The rouseabout will walk up to the fleece, pick it up, and he'll throw the fleece out. Very nice, good job Darren. Now, that was a good toss. Now, as you can see, the technique of shearing gets all the wool off in one piece, just like a big rug. And this is very important. So the short greasy wool from under the legs and the short wool from around the neck, that all goes out to the outside edges of the fleece. So then we can skirt around the fleece and remove this wool. This process is called skirting the fleece. Now this is the back leg. You can see that dirty greasy wool on there. So we remove that, keeping all the dirty wool off, so as we come up the front leg you can see that there again. And the reason we do this is to add value to the main fleece wool, because these pieces that we've removed are far less valuable. And these pieces are called pieces. Now this wool is the finest quality wool in the world, and that's what Australia produces. And this wool will be made for men's suits, ladies' jackets and evening dresses, or very fine and expensive articles of clothing. And this is how much wool a sheep produces in 1 year, around 4 to 5 kilos. There's enough wool here to make 3 complete men's suits. If you had to buy those suits, they would cost you over $1,000. The value of this fleece is $20, and that's what the farmer gets for a fleece of wool. Now take the fleece of wool and we'll put it into a wool press. This metal box here is a wool press. We'll put 40 or 50 fleeces in here, then we'll press it down tight, and that's how we make a bale of wool. Same as these ones over here. Now, most of Australia's wool is exported, and we export to many different countries. The main one today is, where do you think? China. Is the most, someone say China? I think so. Now the belly wool and the pieces, these are made into socks, jumpers and blankets for the bed. And all these little bits that Darren swept up, these are called locks. And the locks that we mix together are made into a material called felt. Now felt material can be made into many different items. This is just one example, this felt hat, which is made out of fine merino wool. And I'm sure you all know of other items made out of felt. Now when the stockman's out mustering the sheep, he uses the Australian stock whip. And when we crack the whip, it makes a very loud bang. And the purpose of the whip is simply to get the attention of the sheep we're mustering, and that is its only purpose. We do not hit any animals with it. And this is how we use the whip. Now remember, when we are cracking the whip, we are riding on a horse. So there are two methods that we use so we don't hit the horse. First one is over the horse's head like this. The other way is up and down like this. And that has the whip travelling alongside the horse. Now, if you watch closely this time, you'll see what makes the whip crack. This time there'll be no sound, okay? No sound. So we swing the whip forward, and to make it crack, we have to change direction. So we go forward, and back, forward, and back. And when we change direction, that creates a loop in the whip. That loop travels out to the end of the whip like a wave. When it gets to the end, it'll flick the end over faster than the speed of sound. So this little piece on the end, which we call the cracker, that is breaking the sound barrier. So the noise you hear is a sonic boom. Now, who wants to be first to come out and crack the whip? This is not dangerous, just as easy for the ladies as it is for the men. Who would like to be first to come out and have a go? It's a lot of fun, we'll show you how to do it. Yes, sir, thank you very much. Welcome, sir. Where are you from? Malaysia. Welcome. I'll just get you to stand in the circle there for me. Yep, looking towards the audience. Now wait there one moment. Now, before anyone can attempt to crack the whip, sir, we must wear the Australian stockman's hat. So we have one here for you. Very fitting too, I might add. Now, it's very important, sir, that we wear the hat when we're cracking the whip. Why do you think? Protect your head. The gentleman said to protect your head, which you would all agree with. A very good reason, wouldn't you think? But the real reason is, it looks good in the pictures. Now, right or left hand? Right hand. Have you done this before? No? Okay. I'll show you again. So we extend our arm and we swing forward. And on the count of 3, we go the other way. So 1, 2, 3. Have a crack at that. So forehand. Yep. There you go. Very nice. So 1. That was pretty good. Now, I'll give you another go. You just, the only thing you did slightly wrong is you went slightly over. So just lower the whip down. Pretend the front row's got hats on it, and you want to take the whole lot off. Okay? Away you go. Well done, excellent work. You've never done that before. Do you play tennis or golf? Ah, there you go. Well done. Let's give him a big clap. That was a great effort. Well done, sir. Thank you very much. Now, who's next? The gentleman showed us how easy it is. Let's have one more person down. One of the ladies, maybe. As I said, it's a lot of fun. I'm sure the gentleman enjoyed that then. Who else would like to have a go at cracking the whip? Anyone else? One more person? They've all chickened out, haven't they? Okay, that's all right. Well done, sir. Let's give him a big round of applause. That was a great effort. Well done. Now, we're going to give you all the opportunity to milk the cow. Here comes our cow now. Our cow's name is? Cow's name? This is Brenda. Minty's retired. Now Brenda is a Frisian cow, that is the breed of the cow. The Frisian Friesian cows are purposely bred to produce milk. Cows like Brenda will produce between 40 and 50 litres of milk per day. This is a 20-litre bucket, so 2 of these are a little bit more each day. This is how we milk a cow. Brenda has 4 teeth hanging down. Pretend my thumb is one of those. Use your thumb and forefinger. You trap and squeeze, trap and squeeze. You must trap first, because if you squeeze first, the milk's going to go up. We want it to come down. Now before that, we have a little surprise for the children. And this is a lot of fun, so kids, if you'd like to help, please put up your hands. We need some volunteers. We've got a few children in the audience here. Would you like to help? Little Ben 10, would you like to come out and give me a hand? This is a lot of fun, as I said. Do you want to come? Yes, thank you, young lady. And young boy, yeah. Yes, she's fine. Come down. Sitting on there. And is she coming down? Yeah, okay, you can come down with him, that's fine. Just sitting on there. If you can just sit, just coming down. Come on, mate, you're alright. If you can stand behind him and sit him on the lap either way. There you go. Now, what do I have in here? This one's for you. Don't drink it yet. One for you, and one for you. Now, listening, we're going to see who can finish their milk first. Okay, this is a little competition, and that milk there came out of Brenda first thing this morning. So it's nice fresh cow's milk. So 2 hands on the bottles like you have there, looking towards the audience, but you cannot start until I say, okay? So just wait. Now keep looking forward. When I say ready, set, go, feed your lambs. It's all right. It's okay. You hear what I mean? Here we go. There you go. Just hold it. There you go. Boy. Hey, where'd he go? He's gone. Just hold him there. Okay, better sit here. Now you can always tell when our lamb feeders are doing a good job, because the tails will be wagging. Good fun? Now our lambs today are all around 4 weeks of age. We have 2 boys and 1 girl. Do you think they're doing a good job? Oh, well done. Just wait there, just wait there. Just wait there. Now, I think you're second and Darren's third. Well done. We'll move them out of the way. Now let's give our lane fans a big round of applause. Well done, sir. Thank you very much. You can head back up now. Thank you. Ben 10 shows them something different. Now, once Darren's finished putting the lambs away, he'll be up and he'll have a lovely cow, and he'll show you how we milk the cow right here. That will then be the end of our show. On behalf of Darren, myself, and Tumblegun Farm, we'd like to thank you all very much for coming today. We hope you enjoy the rest of the day in the bar. Thanks for tuning in.